For some of us, it's been so long since we listened to our bodies, we hardly know how to start understanding what they're trying to tell us, much less how to trust and believe what they're saying.
Hey there, my name is Dr. Beth Russell, and I want to know, what would you do if you were not afraid? Right now, what would your life, your job, your relationships look and feel like if you could be unapologetically you? What's holding you back? This podcast is for anyone that wants to make a change but isn't sure where to start. Let's look inward together and let's talk about you and me, our mental health, our self-care, inner and outer selves, and all that makes us, well, us. It's time to get real, feel the feels, challenge what's holding us back, and connect. This is the Authentic and Brave podcast.
This week, I'm coming to you from Southern California, where I'm visiting my family and getting some much needed rest. Today's episode may be a bit shorter than usual because I'm trying to honor some downtime. We'll see how it goes. I want to start out saying I feel incredibly lucky. As I've mentioned before, I do work a lot. This week, though, the college I work for is off for spring break, so I decided to step away from teaching and take some much needed downtime. My wonderful brother and sister-in-law in California graciously opened their house to me as a refuge from the snow and the stress. I quickly took them up on their standing offer to come and visit, and I jumped on a plane. Most of the time I've been here, it's been gray and rainy. And honestly, it's been wonderful. I had hoped for some sun, but it's okay. The other great part is my sister was also able to come to California on a work trip, and we've had several days together in between her work and her meeting. All three of my siblings and I grew up in a family that owned their own businesses, and rest really wasn't talked much about. All of us now live in different parts of the world and are very different in so many ways. And yet, the more time we spend together, the more I realize how similar we are also. We all have families of our own, partners that keep us grounded and supported, and we're all entrepreneurs. We work in different types of businesses, but we all value working for ourselves, being able to have flexibility in what we do, and rate being our own bosses as a top priority. And if I'm honest, I'm in awe of both of my siblings. They're both strong, independent people who are also sensitive, thoughtful, and kind. I often look to their authentic journeys as inspiration for my own. See, both of them are adventurers. They go about it a little bit differently, but they both do know who they are. That's not to say they don't struggle or haven't had times when they don't listen to their bodies or their inner knowing. But overall, they really get it. They, like the rest of us, get a bit lost at times and struggle to listen to their emotions. But again, ultimately, they do. They tune into who they are, what they want, and how they want to live their life. I love them both dearly and am proud to have siblings like them. This time together with them has helped me slow down, connect to myself and to them, and just enjoy resting a bit. And I've been able to rest in several ways, which is what I want to talk about this week. In the book, Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, rest is defined as, quite simply, when you stop using a part of you that's used up, worn out, damaged, or inflamed, so that it has a chance to renew itself. When I read this, that totally resonated with me and how I go about living my life, and that at times I just feel used up. The author continues to say, most of us have spent our whole lives being taught to believe everyone else's opinions about our bodies, rather than to believe what our own bodies are trying to tell us. For some of us, it's been so long since we listened to our bodies, we hardly know how to start understanding what they're trying to tell us, much less how to trust and believe what they're saying. To make matters worse, the more exhausted we are, the noisier the signal is, and the harder it is to hear the message. If you haven't had a chance to check out the book, Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle, it has some really, really great insights and can help us take away some of the shame around wanting rest and needing rest. I highly suggest checking that out. So why do you think it's so hard for us to rest? I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Did you know that there are 7 types of rest? Goop did a great article on it, and I'll link it on my website for you to check out. Rest can take many forms beyond simply sleeping or doing nothing. And I'm going to go over these 7 different types. The first type of rest is the one we all typically think of, which is physical rest. This type of rest involves taking a break from physical activity and allowing our bodies to recover from exertion. Examples might include taking a nap, lying down, or engaging in low-intensity activities like yoga or stretching. So for you, how often do you take a nap or take a moment during your day to stretch? When I first became a mom, I had to learn a lot about this type of rest. My children were not the greatest sleepers, and I found myself taking naps when they did. The weird thing for me was I was never a great sleeper. When I was younger, my mom used to say that I only would sleep for 3 to 4 hours at a time until the age of 3. In graduate school, I got about 5 to 6 hours a night, and I functioned just fine. And yet when I had kids, my body needed more rest than I was used to. At first, I felt guilty knowing that there were bottles to wash and laundry to do and food to be cooked. But over time, I gave in. See, the thing was, the naps weren't extra. They were needed for me to function. When I didn't sleep enough, I was irritable, I was detached from my husband, and I just didn't have the patience for my children or even my work. And even though my youngest child is now 10 and everyone sleeps through the night for the most part, there are still days that after they leave for school or on the weekend that I'll go back to bed. I work hard to listen to my body when I need sleep. It really is foundational to all I do and all I can do. When someone comes in to see me for therapy, one of the questions I ask them in our first session is, how much do you sleep? I also ask them, what's the quality of your sleep? Sleep and physical rest are foundational to everything that we do.
Are you a therapist looking to grow your practice and help more people in need? Look no further than Headway. Headway is the leading therapy referral platform that connects individuals with top-rated therapists in their area. By joining the Headway network, you'll have access to a steady stream of new clients who are seeking the help and support that you provide. Being a Headway therapist allows you the flexibility and support you need to promote your services and increase your visibility in the community. Joining the Headway network is easy and free. Simply sign up online, create a profile, and start receiving referrals from individuals who are seeking your expertise. Head on over to www.authenticandbrave.com/Headway to get started today.
The second type of rest is mental rest. This one is so important for mental health workers and parents alike. Mental rest involves giving your mind a break from thinking and mental stimulation. It can be achieved by taking a break from work, you can meditate, you can engage in relaxing activities like reading or listening to music. As a teacher and a mental health provider, my mind is always going. I love reading and obtaining information. As a creative, I'm always thinking about new projects and what I can be doing. And I really love it. As an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for opportunities to expand my business, connect with other entrepreneurs, and increase my presence in the world. And at the end of some days, and sometimes even halfway through the day, I'm mentally tired. I find that I can't concentrate on what people are saying, or I'm not obtaining information the way I usually do. When I'm really mentally tired, I lose words and I can't remember names. I know then that I need to slow down and take a break. I'm curious, what happens for you when you are mentally tired? The third type of rest is sensory rest. Sensory rest involves reducing the amount of sensory stimulation that you're exposed to. This can be achieved by turning off electronic devices, dimming lights, or even wearing earplugs or an eye mask. This type of rest has become a regular discussion in my house. As my children have gotten older, they now have their own devices, and it really shows. I can totally tell when my son has been on an electronic for more than 45 minutes. He becomes overstimulated, has trouble regulating his energy or his body, and often struggles to settle his thoughts. And sometimes I fall into this too. At nighttime, I go upstairs about 30 minutes earlier than my husband to get settled and fall asleep before he comes upstairs. I do this because if he is in bed with me, I will want to talk and I keep him up. The last few months, though, when I go to bed, I inevitably will reach for my phone and scroll Instagram or TikTok. It's really not good for my brain at all. My husband will come upstairs and I'll be wide awake and I'll have lost track of time. I get sensory overload instead of sensory rest. To combat this now, I have to place my phone out of my reach before I get into bed, as I will not then be tempted to grab it and scroll mindlessly. That way, it doesn't mess with the physical and mental rest I also need. It's not easy for me to do that, and I can't say that I do it every night, but I find on the nights that I do, I go to sleep much quicker and I wake up more rested. The fourth type of rest is creative rest. Creative rest involves taking a break from creative pursuits like writing, painting, or composing music. Could also be taking a break from creating on Canva or creating Instagram posts. This can help you avoid burnout and recharge your creative energy. Since being in California with my family, I've stepped away from creative endeavors. I had a lot of plans to work on certain projects while I was here, but I realized I needed a break. I put a lot of pressure on myself to be creative and needed to be more gentle with myself. I have to remember that creativity doesn't get used up, and it'll be there when I'm ready to pick it up again. The fifth kind of rest is emotional rest. Emotional rest involves taking a break from situations or people that drain your emotional energy. This might involve setting boundaries, saying no to requests, or taking a break from social media. So if you're like me, I'm always checking in on how others are doing and feeling. I also try hard to tune into what I'm feeling. And both of these together can become exhausting. This morning, I heard a clip from Tony Robbins where he stated that our emotional state controls the story that you have about yourself and your life. How true is that? When we are always emotionally on or taking care of others' emotions, we need rest. It's okay to set boundaries and take care of ourselves first. Getting in touch with our emotions, giving ourselves time to step away, to take a break, to take some rest, can change the story of how we're being in the world, how we're interacting in the world, and ultimately what we're doing in the world.
Are you a fan of young adult fiction, magic, and adventure? Then you won't want to miss Kindreds, the thrilling new fantasy novel from author B.B. Russell. Join our heroine, 16-year-old Lila, after the death of her last living relative when she reconnects with a boy named Joey from her childhood who harbors a secret. Needing to know what it is, Lila follows him and finds herself in Carnival Noliana, a disappearing world of magic and wonder, hidden just beyond the veil of the ordinary that is looking for 10 new members. With Noliana set to disappear at the end of Masquerade in 4 days, Lila must decide if she should follow her heart and Joey into Noliana for good, or trust her instincts and intellect that Noliana may not be what it seems. With unforgettable characters, a battle between listening to one's head or one's heart, and heart-pounding action, Kindreds is the perfect choice for anyone who loves young adult fantasy. So don't wait, pick up your copy today and embark on an epic adventure you won't soon forget. Kindreds by B.B. Russell is now available at your favorite bookstore. Or at www.authenticandbrave.com/kindreds, KINDREDS.
Social rest is the sixth type of rest. This is one type of rest I've actually gotten better at in the last few years. As someone who works with people on issues pertaining to trauma and mental health, by the end of the day or week, I'm spent. My children all play several sports, and our evenings during the week are spent running them places and interacting with other parents. I go out to dinner with my friends. I hang out with my workmates. I see people a lot. And here's the thing, I'm an introvert. I need quiet. I need alone time. I need time to decompress without feeling judgment or guilt from others. So I've had to say no a lot more than I used to. For example, my youngest plays hockey a lot. He practices and has games anywhere from 5 to 6 times a week some weeks. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I'm definitely a fan of his. And so I want to go. I want to see him develop. I want to talk to other parents. But then also at the end of the day, I need rest and I want rest. Luckily for me, my husband and I have a great relationship, and we've talked a lot about this. He is a huge hockey fan. He loves hockey. He loves to take Conley to his practice, and he finds joy in being there and talking with other parents about progress and practice schedules and different drills that they're doing. Thankfully, because of our relationship and his understanding, I go when I can to the practices and games, And then the times that I don't feel guilty. I give into needing a rest from that social interaction. The last type of rest is spiritual rest. Spiritual rest involves taking a break from the demands of daily life and focusing on your spiritual well-being. This could involve prayer, meditation, or spending time in nature. Whatever spirituality is to you. For me, I'm a deeply spiritual person. I take time out to turn inward and focus on my spirituality daily. To be spiritual doesn't mean you're religious or vice versa, though a person can be both or neither also. Taking time for spiritual wellness can help you slow down, focus, and have gratitude for where you are and what you have in this world. What I hope you heard in the 7 types of rest is that we all have different needs, and it's okay to rest and take breaks. So maybe you're getting enough sleep and physical rest isn't a problem, but you're still feeling fatigued. Maybe you need some mental rest or some time to take care of your spiritual well-being. Rest provides us so many different benefits. For example, with physical recovery, our bodies need rest to repair and recover from all the wear and tear that we put our bodies through. It gives our muscles and tissues time to heal, and it helps regulate our hormones and immune system. Rest gives us mental clarity. Taking a break can help us recharge our cognitive abilities and improve our focus and productivity when we do return to work. I find that sometimes even 5 minutes in between a session, or maybe 20 minutes of closing my eyes and either resting or meditating during the day in between teaching or in between clients can actually help my recall and my cognitive abilities so much. Rest can help us to manage our emotions and avoid burnout. It helps us cope with stress and anxiety, and overall can help improve our mood. It can increase our energy for creative pursuits. It can help us generate new ideas and avoid creative blocks. And it can help prevent or buffer against chronic health problems, such as sleep disorders, depression, anxiety, and cardiovascular disease. By prioritizing rest, we can promote long-term health and well-being. In short, rest is an essential part of maintaining our physical, mental, and emotional health, and is necessary for our overall well-being. By prioritizing it and taking regular breaks, we can improve our mood, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost our cognitive function and creativity. As for me, rest this week has been about connecting to myself and slowing down. It's also been about spending time with my loved ones that I don't get to see regularly. I've been able to appreciate their laughs, their insightful thoughts on life, talking with their children and who they're becoming, and most of all, the joy of simply being together. I hope that you will take some time to consider resting. Give yourself permission to take care of you. No guilt, no judgment, just rest. Until next time, keep on being authentic and brave.
Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic and Brave podcast. I want to remind our listeners that the content of this podcast is not a substitute for professional therapy or medical advice. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you are experiencing mental health issue or any other medical concern, we strongly encourage you to seek help from a licensed professional. The National Alliance on Mental Illness, also called NAMI, helpline is a great resource and can be reached at 1-800-950-NAMI or 1-800-950-6264. Thanks so much for tuning into the Authentic and Brave podcast. If you want more, head over to the authenticandbravepodcast.com for show notes and sign up for the mailing list so you'll never miss an episode. If you're looking for inspiration, connection, and people like you and me, be sure to join my exclusive community on Facebook. The link's waiting for you at authenticandbravepodcast.com. This is Dr. Beth Russell signing off. See you next time.